AALDR this weekend was a great blessing and opportunity for providing models and avenues for ministry for young African Americans from all over the country to come to one location and hear seasoned ministers who are working in ethnic specific black churches, multi-ethnic churches, and urban churches to learn how they can begin to move towards these kind of ministries once they go through seminary. And I think this weekend has afforded us a great opportunity to say a lot of things that are very helpful to these young people, things that I didn't have when I was coming along, but I think are going to just help to open doors for folks who are going to seminary and coming out. I think both AALI and AALDR are tapping into a growing interest in the African American community towards Reformed theology, and that interest, I think, it's been propelled by things like John Piper and Desiring God conferences. I think that's had a significant influence in sparking African American interest. I think it's come from Christian hip hop and Lecrae and Sho Baraka and Tripoli and these guys, and they're more reformed. Rap has influenced, and I've met a number of young guys who've come to the Reformed theology because they heard these guys rap. Heard of their interest in Reformed theology, and then started reading material afterwards. I think AALI and AALDR are opportunities of continuing to crystallize this ongoing movement, and to actually help to show young African Americans ways that they really can get involved in ministry. It just provides more and more clarity on how you get in, how you move towards doing Reformed ministry. And I think we're a part of something bigger in doing that. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's one of the significant ways that the PCA, even the Presbyterian Church in America, is tapping into what's going on even more broadly. One of the things that was mentioned even in one of our presentations was the fact that this is generational, and it has been generational. When we started to move towards African Americans started to move in these circles more and more, we had this grandiose idea that within no time there's going to be just African American Reformed churches all over the place. We've learned that the process is slower than that. And we are a part of a generation that's trying to bring on another generation. But my hope is within 10 to 15 years, we will see more and more African American or multi-ethnic, and my heart's towards multi-ethnic church, multi-ethnic churches led by African Americans with significant African American populations in them, and more African Americans moving towards being faculty members on Reformed Seminary faculties, and that's my hope, that African Americans will be more and more in leadership in conservative Reformed denominations, and I hope to see that. I couldn't even begin to think of what the number is going to be 10 and 15 years from now, because it has been slow. And even in the previous presentation last night, it was, it's our generation, the next generation, and then maybe the next generation before you see an explosion of it. But we certainly are moving in a direction that is very healthy and very exciting. I think diversity is one of the ways diversity is created within our circles is providing a safe avenue for people to have a conversation about diversity. And I think for people to be attracted, a diverse demographic to be attracted to a group that is predominantly of one race and culture, you have to provide that means of safety so that you can actually have this conversation. I think AALI and AALDR are promoting the conversation. And so when you can freely bring together different people and you can talk about the issues and things that need to be thought about, I think that's a big deal. I think what the RUF at Jackson State provides are people. It's a historic black college campus, and it is an opportunity for really engaging a black college on Reformed thinking. And so I think you need both. I think you need avenues for people to come and pipelines for them to find their way in. I think that's what JSU serves, Jackson State University. But I think also AALDR provides this avenue of having the conversation about these things. So we're bringing all of that together at one time. You could have people without a willingness to have a conversation, and you're not going to keep the people. You could have a conversation and not a pipeline to have the people, and you're still not doing it. I think this is providing both. And that's one of the things I think is such a blessing about it, and one of the reasons it is possibly a tipping point to something altogether different, a movement in a way that's much quicker than we've seen in the past. I think there are things that the PCA brings to a conversation about worship that are very important to guard. I think an emphasis on the Bible, the centrality of preaching, on Christ being exalted, God's glory in worship. I think the Scripture speaking to how we do that, I think, is very important, and things that we need to hold on to. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be attractive to African Americans who are coming towards the Reformed faith. On the other hand, though, I think a conversation that the Presbyterian Church needs to continue to have is a conversation related to the engagement of people who express themselves differently in worship. Maybe that is more freedom in worship, broader instrumentation in worship, the different styles of music used in worship. All of those are a part of, I think, African Americans from their own church experience coming into the Presbyterian Church in America. Even things like, being able to raise your hands or say amen or sway in a choir and those kind of things that have been a part of the black church experience, an expressive church experience. I think the PCA needs to embrace that more. I think embracing that more, what I've learned at Redeemer in a multi-ethnic church, is that has been good, not just in terms of an avenue for bringing African Americans in. It's blessed our white members in our church. It's caused them to have a joy in worship that is something different than I think many of them had experienced before.